The Elizabethan country house Hardwick Hall in Derbyshire attracts thousands of visitors each year and can boast an impressive past. The house was built to impress and has been much loved over the centuries. It may be no surprise to some that Hardwick Hall is reputedly haunted. Hardwick Hall dates from around 1590 and was built for Elizabeth Talbot, Countess of Shrewsbury, or as history knows her, Bess of Hardwick. Bess was the richest woman in Elizabethan England after Queen Elizabeth I and built her home to flaunt her power and prestige. The house was built alongside an older house which was built between 1587 and 1596, again by Bess of Hardwick. This house was unfinished at the time the new house was being built. Spirits are seen walking between the two, with one visitor claiming to have seen what they believe to be a servant carrying a platter. They described this apparition as wearing a green tunic with a feathered hat and walked at a quick pace across the lawn between the old and new hall. Perhaps the most notable feature of Hardwick is its many large windows, which in themselves have been the centre of paranormal activity. Many have claimed to see faces peering down into the ground. One face reported is of a small boy who at times is seen pressing his hand on the window pane and playfully bobs his head in and out of the curtains as if playing peekaboo. Another face widely reported is of an old woman who stares aimlessly out across the Derbyshire countryside. Upon entering the hall, people have reported the feeling of being watched and of hearing footsteps rushing towards them, yet no one is there. Others report of seeing a sinister shadow peering down at them from the balcony above. The High Great Chamber would have been where Bess received visitors to Hardwick and heard petitions. It is in this room where the ghostly figure of a man is seen bowing before an empty chair where Bess would have once sat. This same man has been seen standing by the fireplace, uttering inaudible words. The ghost of Bess herself has been seen sitting in her chair, as if she were waiting to receive her ghostly visitors. Visitors have also reported seeing her ghost in multiple locations around her former home. Many have seen her walking in the long gallery, where she is seemingly angered, and at times has been heard to shout, "Hark, hark now." Hark being the Elizabethan word for listen. Hardwick has been the subject of a handful of paranormal investigations over the years. On the 4th of January 1976, investigator and author Andrew Green reported an apparition of a monk walking through the grounds. This ghostly figure was witnessed by two others as they were driving through Hardwick Park at about 8 p.m. They described the figure as someone with a black habit type attire and a brilliant white face. Unsure of what they had seen, they turned the car around to go back and get a second look. They both saw the figure in a monk's habit, without hands or feet, but with an almost luminous brilliant white face. The figure remained motionless for a minute before it veered away from their stationary car and vanished. The landlady of the nearby Hardwick Inn at the time reported seeing the monk herself on 2 occasions, on the 31st of December 1975 and on that very day as the others, the 4th of January 1976. Their story was further corroborated by the driver and passenger of another car, who confirmed they had seen the same ghostly monk at around the same time. It was also seen by others on the outskirts of Sutton in Ashfield by 2 young ladies some time later. Other hauntings have been reported. One is of a woman in a blue Victorian dress who has been seen by staff walking in the nursery and kneeling as if in prayer in the chapel. Visitors have also seen this apparition standing by the bed in the blue bedroom. One visitor, while taking pictures in the green room, felt something brush past his lower leg, but when he looked down he saw nothing. Thinking nothing of it, he turned to take a picture of the bed and saw a white cat curled up on the pillow. Fearing that this cat could cause harm to the historic bed, the visitor rushed to find a member of staff. Others had also seen this cat on the same day, and the house was temporarily closed so that a thorough search could be made, but no cat was found. This same cat is also sighted in the kitchen, where it is seen sitting on the table, meowing at any who enter, before dashing off and disappearing through the oven. Many walking through the kitchen often hear the sound of footsteps and of a ghostly voice calling out, "Hither," the Elizabethan word for here. Haunting these stairs is the ghost of a woman dressed all in black, crying as if she was mourning the loss of a loved one. She is often sighted slumped face down on the stairs, and when approached she suddenly stops and lifts her head, which is described as being grossly disfigured. Who or what this spirit is weeping over is not known. Skeptics of course dismiss any notion of Hardwick Hall being haunted and point to the fact that there is no real evidence other than what people claim to have seen, which could easily have been made up by an overactive imagination. But as with all cases of the paranormal, whether or not Hardwick Hall is haunted comes down to one question: do you believe?